Hotel manager fired after employee's savage revenge. This is not my story, but a friend of mine. We'll call my friend Stephanie. I believe she's proud of what she did, but not as proud as I was when she told me this story. We worked the front desk at a hotel together. The owner of the hotel hired a management company who placed 2 new general managers into our workplace. Not at the same time, and they both ended up getting fired. This story is about the second one they hired. We'll call her Mary. While I worked at the hotel with Mary as our boss, I noticed a lot of issues with her. She clearly didn't care about the law, nor her employees. She seemed to enjoy making people miserable as some sort of power trip. She only showed favoritism toward a couple of people who worked there, but most of us, like Stephanie and I, were not amongst that group. I eventually moved to another state, so I left that job and started a new journey elsewhere. Stephanie remained at the hotel and eventually was doing way too much work. Mary was constantly trying to save money and increase her bonuses by firing multiple staff members, including those at the front desk. This left Stephanie to work many doubles, often alone and on very busy days where there were lines of people checking in. Amongst some of the staff members she fired were also some of the restaurant staff. To replace the lack of workers, she would often have her husband come in and cook the food in the restaurant, not as an employee. He wasn't getting paid, never completed any of the required trainings, and technically wasn't even allowed to be in the back kitchen area. Big legal issue right there. Mary also began to remove employee overtime from their paychecks, just deleting it from the system, another way to pad her own bonus. On top of that, she would openly badmouth the hotel owner in emails, calling her clueless and stupid, like it was no big deal. One evening, on a very busy check-in day, Stephanie was left completely alone at the front desk to fend for herself. Nothing had been prepped before her shift, meaning no rooms were ready for guests, key packets weren't made, and all the issues that normally get handled by managers earlier in the day were just ignored. Mary, of course, clocked out early and headed home. It wasn't just laziness, it felt intentional, like she wanted Stephanie to drown. But that was the wrong day to mess with Stephanie. Stephanie played it cool for about an hour after Mary left. She checked in who she could, calmly assured the guests with broken ACS or dirty rooms that her boss, Mary, would personally handle their complaints. She called the only other 2 front desk employees and warned them, "You're probably going to get a call from Mary later. Don't pick up." They agreed. Then, after about an hour, Stephanie did the boldest thing I've ever heard. She took off her uniform shirt, folded it neatly, placed it on the counter, and walked right out the front door in her bra. Didn't say a word to anyone, just left. By the time the restaurant staff noticed, there was a huge line of angry guests at the desk. Nobody knew how to work the reservation system. Phones were ringing off the hook. People were yelling. Eventually, someone called Mary to let her know the front desk was completely unattended. Mary tried calling Stephanie. No answer. Tried the other 2 front desk staff. No answer. So she had no choice but to drive an hour back to the hotel, where she walked into pure chaos. Dozens of furious guests demanding refunds, others threatening to call corporate, and staff shrugging helplessly because nobody could fix it. That was just the appetizer. See, Stephanie had been documenting everything for months. She had copies of emails where Mary insulted the owner, screenshots of altered paychecks with missing overtime, even video proof of Mary's husband working illegally in the kitchen. She put it all neatly onto a thumb drive, wrote a detailed timeline of events, and overnighted it directly to the hotel owner. HR launched a full-scale investigation almost immediately. The evidence was airtight. Mary was fired on the spot, escorted out of the building like she deserved. Even better, the entire management company that hired her was dropped. This wasn't their first time hiring a disaster GM, and the owner had had enough. Stephanie? She was offered her job back, full pay with an apology. She politely declined. She said she had no interest in cleaning up someone else's mess again, especially after proving her point. Last I heard, she moved on to a much better job. Meanwhile, Mary's name is basically mud in the local hotel industry. And the management company? Blacklisted. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.